afternoon, welcome to the show, welcome to Give It a Nudge. Today we have Ryan and Jamie down from the Gold Coast to talk about their business Partnar. Excited because I met these guys, gosh, what was it? Maybe a month ago? Something like that?
Ago, yeah.
No concept of time. But I'm not going to talk about Partnar, I want you guys to talk about Partnar. Ryan, I'm going to start with you and I will point to you or ask you who I'm asking so you don't talk over each other because that's always awkward. But why don't you first explain who you are and what the business is, and then we'll come to you, don't worry.
Yeah, so who I am, mate. I'm just a small town country boy. Actually, I watched one of the videos the other day of Belinda, and she actually stole my line.
She is from the country, I remember.
She is, yeah. And my line is, I'm a small town country guy giving it a go in software. And
is that what she said?
She said she's a small town country girl giving it a go in tech. I was like, B, that's my line.
You know what? It was ages ago, don't worry.
Yeah,
People will have
people
forgotten.
forget,
Yeah.
But mate, and Partner's a brand-to-brand collaboration platform, and what we do is we match brands together that share a similar customer. So if you're a brand that sells to 18-year-old, 35-year-old females that care about sustainability, wellness, we match you up so you can share customer information, cross-promote products, services to ultimately win more customers.
Yeah, and we actually need to talk, because we wanted to talk to you guys about Balance the Grind, our other business, which we will do, not today, because this is not a Balance the Grind podcast, this is a Give It a Nudge podcast. We have a podcast for that too. That's only voice. And Jamie, tell me about you.
Mate, I'm originally from Wollongong and moved up to the Gold Coast when I was early 20s and fumbled around a bit after I played soccer and ended up doing e-com. So I've started, founded and sold 4 e-com stores.
4?
Yeah. And it was in the fitness industry, that's how I met this guy.
Yep.
And just as a membership sales consultant in sales.
Hardest sales role in the world, other than maybe conference sales, which I think is probably up there with the same.
You love sales.
I didn't love it, no. So that's why I think I gravitated to e-com.
Yep.
I did pretty well there, and we had this idea, and we've started to give it a go.
So how did you two meet? I'll stick with you.
We worked at it was called Feeney's Fitness, it's now Good Life.
Yep.
And I think he was the sales manager. This was going back about 13 or so years ago now. And yeah, we worked together, we had a great time, it was a pretty cool atmosphere there, it was pretty fun, we were pretty young.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went our separate ways. He went software, I went e-com, and funny enough, we started experiencing the same problem at the same time and come together.
Interesting.
In the business.
And look, fitness is, I love the fitness. We've had quite a few fitness, if you've watched some of the shows, there's been quite a lot of fitness. Had the Pilates guy on the other day, that was a good episode actually.
Yep.
Okay, so what was the problem? You both encountered this problem. You're in software, country boy, soccer player in sales, gone to e-com. You're both experiencing the problem. What the hell is this problem that you both could have experienced where you've gone out this way that converged you back together?
So they'll similar problem in different examples. So I had a marketplace for gyms, so people can find join a gym in the area.
Yep.
I had that for 5 years, and the way I got the wheels turning with that business was the bread and butter was getting gyms on the platform, right? And so I went to business mentors, governing bodies, and said, hey, if you put your clients on the platform, I'll share the revenue with you.
Yep.
So I knew partnerships worked in that domain. And Jamie, on the other hand, with the e-com brands, he was always doing brand-to-brand collaborations. And he was doing influencer collaborations, right?
Yep.
So easy way to get new customers. So we knew that worked. And then this thing changed in terms of iOS updates, right? And so app tracking transparency became a real pain in the butt for not only e-commerce people, but all marketers, because people can't accurately find their target audience now. So I was, when I finished that startup, I took a role as an equity position in a local startup on the Gold Coast, and the way I was growing that business was through partnerships.
Yep.
Jamie took the role as a CMO when he closed his last business, sold his last business, and he was a CMO doing partnerships, and he called me one day and he's like, man, I'm reaching out to all of these brands, some get back to me, some stuff me around, I'll eventually get a partnership together, and he goes, surely there's this one place where I can just say, here's who I am, here's who I want to partner with, and have people come to me.
Aha moment.
I was like, no, I don't think there is, mate, let's have a look. So we spent a couple of weeks looking high and low if we could find that solution, but we couldn't find it, so we said, stuff it, let's build it ourselves.
And so did you both just quit right there and then and start it, or did you side hustle it, or how did that sort of come about?
Well, we're pretty loose and fast sort of guys. We built a one-page landing page.
Don't know what to say to that. We're just going to let that fly through.
This will explain.
We'll get some good comments when this video comes out about that. We might even use that as the promo.
Loose and fast founders.
Yeah.
No, we built a one-page landing page.
Yep.
We brought the URL Partnar.
Yep.
Built a deck, 6-page deck.
Yep.
Put some designs together in Figma, thinking this is what it will roughly look like, and then started pitching it to brands. So I was still doing partnerships at Jamie was still the CMO, doing this in the afternoons and whatnot, and every brand was saying, yes, when it's built, we'll love to be a part of it.
Who are you going to?
LinkedIn, any business. Anyone, any connections that we had, cold outreach.
Right, so there was no target audience. You just thought we're just going to blanket and see what sticks, kind of thing.
We just wanted feedback. And everyone was saying, yeah, when it's ready, sign me up, we'll do it. And we said, okay, it's going to be about, 200 a month, 400 a month. They're like, yeah, fine. And we're like, it doesn't really validate for us. So we created a Stripe account, sent them a Stripe invoice and said, hey, if you pay for 12 months in full, we'll give you a discount. It's $5,000. And we had 2 brands pay it. And we're like, we had nothing. We didn't have a platform, we didn't have a developer, we had 10
Do
grand.
the brands who paid that know this now?
Now they do, yeah. But that was validation for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'd been through this process a few times before of starting businesses, and the challenge is you chat to everyone's like, yeah, this is awesome, it's going to be cool, but unless they give
Everyone
you their
always
cash.
says that.
Exactly.
Particularly if they're not doing it.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Well, you both had experience of running your own businesses, which I think accounts for a lot, right? I think obviously we have a lot of founders on this show, and the difference between how a first-time founder goes about it, which is just total madness and do the strangest things towards someone like you guys who've done it before, where you actually look for that validation, is something that hopefully by watching the show they'll learn. Because to get 5,000, that's a big ask for a non-existent product that you've done no demo on. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We won't talk about who those brands are. So Jamie, what do you do then? Right, you got 10 grand sitting in your account. Is that okay? Well, we better build something. Neither of you can code, I'm guessing.
No, we can't.
So what do you do?
Scrambled for a developer.
I bet you did. And how long ago was this? Like 2 years?
No, we launched the platform on the 6th of July 2022. So
wow.
12 months ago.
12 months ago.
Yeah,
and there were no developers 12 months ago. Like there were none.
No.
Like, there was zero. And if there were any, they were like 190,000 a year. So did you go overseas? Or did you know one? What did you do?
Yeah, we sourced one overseas.
Yeah.
I think we hit the gold mine with one.
Which is very rare.
Yeah, he's very good.
That's fantastic.
To be fair, we went through one.
Oh, yeah, we had some clangers.
Let's not get into offshore right now. We haven't got time for that. And so, I mean, even so, you've got 10 grand, people are probably expecting something relatively quickly. You don't build a platform like that. I mean, you would have had obviously you had a marketplace, and they're not as complicated as building a very heavy product featured sort of platform, but how quickly did you get it up?
I think, which was playing on our side, that we wanted to make the platform simple. And of course, there's intricacies of making stuff simple, but we thought of just building it in stages. What's the MVP that we can get out there that can make some positive results for our clients straight away? So we build it, and with the intention of every week just making it better and better.
Right. Okay. And so, what happened then? We'll go back to you. So you've got your product up and running now. The people who paid 5 grand hopefully have got some level of confidence, but kind of going, "Did we really pay 5 grand for this? Because it's really simple." Where does it go from there? And actually, before we do that, how have you split your roles? Right. So you've obviously both run businesses. Sounds like you've got more of a sales bent. You've got more of a marketing bent. There's a lot more roles in sales and marketing in a business. How have you split that now as co-founders?
Now it's very, we're still figuring it out, to be honest.
Yep.
Because, like I said, we're loose and fast, so we just dive in.
Got to stop saying that.
Yeah, I know. But as it's evolved, we've had to evolve with it.
Yep.
So mine's very much anything to do with sales, new customers, investor communications, presenting, anything like that.
Yep.
And then Jamie does a lot of the customer service,
Okay.
the marketing side of it.
Yeah. Okay. So right, you built your platform, you've got your 2 customers. I'm assuming that you just keep going. Is that pretty much what happened from there?
Basically, we figured out we've got something here, and that was like a month or 2. So we started to just put some feelers out with investors, and with the objective of going, let's just start to build the relationship with them.
Yep.
So we weren't necessarily going in saying, hey, we want cash. We're just saying we want to let you know what we're doing. for in the future if we do need to
Where
raise.
are we in the world right now? Are we November? Are we what sort of timing are we talking?
Launched on the 6th of July.
Yeah,
We signed a term sheet on the 6th of September.
which was good timing in hindsight.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Couldn't have been better.
Couldn't have been better.
Loose and fast.
Loose and fast. You got to stop saying that.
So, did you just sign one investor, two? Did you get lots of interest? How did that? Because raising money, there's no rhyme or reason to it. People think there's a dark art. People think there's this way, there's a structure. There is, but really a lot of it's luck, timing, what that person's thinking about at the time. It's almost like dating. There's so much circumstances involved in that. I'm not going to ask you how much you raised unless you want to tell me, but who did you end up going with? Was it private investors initially and then you're looking at VCs later? Give me some ideas.
So we did about 30 presentations.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yep, heaps. We had 4 that were serious. We ended up going with Skalata Ventures down in Melbourne.
Oh yes, I knew this because I know them.
Yep. Couldn't be happier that we made that choice with them.
Yeah.
Great group, very strong members of the team. And without them, I don't think we would have been able to accelerate as fast as we have.
Yeah, it's a cool office.
Not just the cash.
I like their office too.
Yep. Great office, yeah.
Okay, so now you've got some money. You've got some money from customers. You've got some money from investors. I mean, you wanted proof. You've got your proof. Fast forward to now. What's happened in that brief time? Have you bought on a whole heap of brands? Obviously, the platform's bought out. Give me some ideas of what's happened during that time. Let's go to present day.
Yeah, we got a heap of brands in there, and we went really wide, right?
Yep.
So we said any business that wants to do partnerships, come in. But the challenge with that is with all marketplaces, you sort of miss the opportunity to build verticals.
Yeah.
And a lot of brands don't get the experience they want because there's not many opportunities for
That
to
vertical.
leverage the customers. So we started to go narrow. So we went everyone, then we went, okay, let's do online retail, direct-to-consumer brands, and SaaS products.
Okay.
And that's sort of how it's evolved at the moment. But it's probably 75% direct-to-consumer brands at the moment.
Okay, which is an interesting space right now. And the reason I say that is because there's stacks and stacks of direct-to-consumer startups in an environment where living costs are going through the roof. So it's a tough time for them. So partnerships and brands are super important because it's expensive to go and win customers or buy customers online. And so you're more the customer side. What's the onboarding process like for a brand? Is it a self-serve thing? Do they come on and spend a week with you playing soccer and get to know you? Or how does that work? What's the experience like? If I was a brand and I was going, you know what, I've got a direct customer product, I'm loving this partner site, I want to get on this marketplace. How does it work from there?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of options or a couple of plans. So a brand can go self-service and they can, figure it out themselves, and the platform's quite intuitive. Otherwise, we have some other managed services, or we try and get in touch with everyone that joins and jump on a demo and try and just learn a lot about their business and what their goals are and how we can help them as best as possible.
Yep.
Whether that's showing them how to use the platform or giving them introductions to brands that are inside the platform that we know quite well and are interested to partner.
Excellent. And I would have thought, how many go self-serve? I wouldn't have thought many.
It's a low percentage compared
That'll
to,
come.
especially the way our funnel works. Most of the brands go through a demo with us first, and then they get started.
But I think it speaks to as well, one thing that we figured out is that, or identified, not figured out, was that brands want to do partnerships, but they get stuck. They don't know how to do them.
And they don't know the commercials. You know what I see? That's the problem. They're like, how much should I ask? Am I giving it away? Is it too expensive? That's probably one of the hardest parts of doing. We recently created a partnership agreement. I'm sure it's wrong. In my heart, I know it's wrong, but we had to try something. Right?
Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
Yep.
And so how do you help in that respect?
Well, they're most of the brands that are on the managed service stuff, right? So we help them with identifying what assets do you have. So it could be email lists, social following, how many orders do you have going out a week, and what's the objective of what you want to achieve. Some brands just want to use it as a reach tool. We want to build our brand awareness in these categories.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's always about new customer acquisition. That's what everyone wants.
Of course.
So we just help them understand what are the assets you have, what's the objective you want to achieve, and then what's that operating procedure to get there.
Okay. Now, we talked briefly, but I didn't have a lot of time before, about where you're going. I want to know, because I can think of so many things you can do, which I'm not going to share with you because I want you to share with me. Stay with you. Where in your eyes, you've got this business, it's validated, you're invested, you're in a great place in a very, very short period of time in what is arguably not a great market for B2C or investment or anything right now. Where's it go? What's the plans, the immediate plans, and then we'll talk a little maybe about the longer term ones with you in a sec.
So at the moment, we just built an integration with Shopify, which allows Shopify merchants to integrate some of their data. So what we'll do is we'll read their customer list, their subscriber list, we'll look at what their average order value is, frequency of order, and then they can use that first party data they've collected about their customer and then map that with other potential partners. So if we were to partner together, we could see that, geez, 10% of our customers are overlapping, 10% of my customers, your customers. 20% of our subscribers are overlapping. There's a strong synergy to show that our customers care about the similar things, right? And then over time, the long-term play of this is to go, imagine we've got 5,000 direct-to-consumer brands integrating, pulling this data into the platform. Then you log in, you create your account, and in real time, you can see, geez, 10% of my customers are showing interest in travel and leisure. 5% of my customers are starting to show up in wellness and beauty. This is real-time data that brands can't get from anywhere else.
No, it's probably the most, who owns that data?
Well, the brands do. So we've got some pretty cool stuff that anonymizes the data, so they don't have to get too worried about that. But they'll always own their own data, we won't.
Because the data's the value in that, is it data or is it data? I never really know. Anyway, that's where, from a retail point of view, that's the most valuable thing in the world, right? The most valuable thing in the world. As you said, advertisers, brands, they've all lost this ability to track and monitor everyone, even though everything you say your phone listens to, which we can't talk about here. But that's going to be amazing.
Yep.
Fantastic. And what about longer term? Because you're talking about retail now, and you've got B2B SaaS. Like you said, most of your ones are retail. Obviously, you're going to keep pushing the B2B SaaS. Do you see you building this platform out across every kind of aspect, every kind of brand? Like, for example, Balance the Grind, which I wanted to talk to you about, it's a media publication. It's not really about selling, it's about gaining an audience. Is that something that would work with your product now? Or is that something that will come down the track?
Yeah, I think it definitely will. We've got a couple ideas around how we can leverage editors and stuff like that.
Eyeballs, it's about winning eyeballs, right? As opposed to sort of selling something.
For our brands to be able to get in front of and leverage those audiences that you do have. Yeah. Just give them kind of one-click options to activate partnerships and get in front of those.
And audiences. I guess, is there an option, I'll go back to you, around influencers? Like, I think there's all these agencies popped up, will max you with influencers. I haven't seen anyone doing particularly well yet. And now there's more influencers than there are brands. But is that something that you could bring into this as well? Because that is a partnership and a collaboration. But if you could make it data-backed rather than just, they've got another product that's similar, well, maybe you don't want to use them then, you want to use someone who's different. But I guess if you could use real-time data around that would be incredibly valuable.
Yeah, I think it's one thing that we thought about maybe 2 or 3 months ago is because you've got Tribe and that, they do really well with direct-to-consumer brands, but there's nothing in the B2B space. And if you look at some LinkedIn profiles, some of those people are very influential, right? That can really communicate a brand's message for someone. And no one's playing in that space. But the challenge that we have is that if we keep growing the direct-to-consumer side, it sort of runs in conflict with the platform. So I think it's running in our back of our minds going, is it something that we want to do? Perhaps.
We need to stay focused on.
You do need to stay focused. I'm really bad at that. You can probably tell. But you do need to stay focused. I guess, for you, where is the business now? Is it still just the two of you?
Yeah, and a developer, and we've got some freelancers.
Okay, and is the plan to sort of, I guess, how are you going to build that team out? And is the plan to raise money? Is the plan to really sort of hone in and get product people? Because you guys have got quite mixed backgrounds. I guess you'll get to a point where you start needing, and we see this with all startups, right? You need people like you, the 0 to 1s who can do everything, and then you suddenly get to a point where you go, actually, that's now way beyond my comprehension. At least I'm going to go and do 15 courses and learn it, or we go and hire a specialist product person or a specialist marketing or whatever it be. Yeah. Is that something that you guys have thought and talked about yet?
Yes and no. I think we're really focused on just finding product market fit at the moment.
Yeah.
Getting to break even, so we're cash flow positive at least, because that's really important in this climate.
Very rare.
Very rare.
You come on the show when you do that 100%, just because no one ever comes on the show cash flow positive.
Well, we're trending towards it, which is great. But the first phase is getting there, finding somewhat level of product market fit. We know we won't achieve it just yet. And then just building a repeatable sales model.
Yep.
Once we can get that, we'll raise more money.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I guess, you've both had businesses before. This business is probably different to both of the things you've done before, although it's similar to both of the things you've done before as well. I guess, what was the thing, and I want both of you to answer both of these questions, and I don't care who starts, but I guess, what's the thing that you felt you brought with you the most, that has been most useful, and then what was the thing that has completely caught you off guard and stuffed you up that you never saw coming, even though you've run multiple businesses? I'm going to start with you because you've run lots of businesses.
Yeah, I'll start. I think the one that's...
Oh, you're ready for this, weren't you?
The one that's, I guess, been the most trickiest for me is in my previous life at ecom. It's always been myself, and I've always run it really lean and leveraged VAs. So I haven't had to deal with people much at all.
Like Ryan.
Not the
That's tricky too.
Is this the biggest challenge? Is he sitting right here? Because you know he can hear you, right?
I mean,
He
more
tells
so
me.
the client, face,
Yeah.
like talking like this.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
It's not one of my strengths.
Well, you're getting better at it right now.
Oh, hopefully. I don't know.
And what was so if that's been the hardest thing or the most unusual thing, what do you think was the thing that you'd learned in your previous experience that really helped you? And you might not even be, often I ask this question, people don't even know because it's subconscious.
Yeah, I think there's so many things. Just being, it's going to sound cliched, but being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just not knowing, okay, here's where we're going, here's where we are now. Don't really know how we're going to get there just yet, but we're going to just give it a go and see where we go.
It's interesting you say that, and I'll tell you why. I've now run my own company for 18 odd years. I've recently just started training for a half Ironman. Don't ask me why, it's a ridiculous concept at my age. Anyway, I have. And I have an online coach, and he tells me what to do every day through Training Peaks, right? So I get up every morning, I look at Training Peaks, and it tells me what to do, and I just go and do it. And I love that, because never in my last 18 years have I woken up and had someone tell me what to do, and I know I can just go and execute it, and it's done. So I get what you're saying, that being comfortable with being uncomfortable is something that just happens over time. And I think most first-time founders are not comfortable with that at all. And then you become so used to it, you don't even realize how nice it is to be told what to do sometimes. So I very much understand that. What about yourself?
I guess the strength is probably the sales perspective, coming from building a marketplace, having an understanding of when we're building the MVP, what we need to build.
Because marketplaces are different, because there's three sides to it, right? It's a bit more complicated than just a product.
Yeah, very much. Communicating the message, dealing with investors, I feel like that's some of my strengths, but I think he'll probably tell you probably the hardest stuff is letting go of things, and understanding that it's your co-founders and you're there to support one another.
Can I answer it for him?
Have you had any massive doozies?
No, we've been
we
pretty good.
don't have doozies. We have, we argue a lot.
Yeah, heaps.
Well, is it arguing or debating? Because they're two very different things.
Both.
Both. We're both pretty stubborn, so.
Awesome.
No, I'm not.
Perfect.
No,
But I think it's been healthy in some way, though. We battle it out and then it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Just boom, done. Well, as long as you get to a resolution, it's when you get to a stalemate, right? That's the problem. Have you got a shareholders agreement? Just checking.
Yeah. No. I think we clash, but I think the beauty about us is we clash for the right reasons. Is we're not trying to say my opinion's better, your opinion's better. It's always about what objective are we trying to achieve, and it's more about strategy or direction. And I think that the outcome's always been great for us. We've always been able to go, okay, we're going to do it this way this time, and then we go that way, and it seems to work out.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's good. All right, last question. You're going to grow. This video will go on forever and ever and ever, so people will watch this video. If in the future you start to hire people directly or people want to come and are attracted to what you're doing, why would someone want to come and work for you guys? How would you describe that in your own words?
work for us.
Because that'll happen, it'll have to.
Yeah. I think the cool thing about what we're building is we're right in front of this wave of a lot of change. You look at iOS updates, you look at the elimination of third-party cookies.
Yep.
There's there's so much change going on, and we're trying to be just in front of that or ride with it.
Yep.
And very rarely do these things happen, right? And I think the product that we're building, the vision that we've got, to be a part of something like that would be fucking really cool, man. And you might have to wait another 5, 7, 10 years to get an opportunity to create a business that'll have that type of impact again.
I think you're right. I think the last one was mobiles, right? You think about mobiles, like ringtunes, SMS marketing, that was a
GPS.
wave. Yeah, that came out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
Do you remember all the ridiculous amount of money you'd spend downloading ringtones? Just ridiculous. They were awful, and you'd hate them an hour later, and you'd hate yourself as well. But that was a huge wave, and it's a similar thing. It impacts everyone. Why do they call them cookies? Does anybody know here?
I don't even know.
No, I don't know.
But
I think you're right. I think that is a massive wave. What about you? Why do you think someone will come work for you?
Yeah, to add to that, I think the kind of person that I think we'd hire first initially would be just someone with a really good attitude, someone that's hungry, and they'd be able to really try things. They'd be able to come up with ideas and just bring it to us and we'd say, yeah, give it a go.
That's on video now, by the way.
Yeah, I was just about to say, hold up there, mate.
I'm
long
going
as
to wait
it's a
for
good
it now.
idea.
You're going to be having your first ever review, and they're going to be asking you for money. And they said, "Look, first, I know you're fast and loose, and second, you said here if I bring it to you, you're going to say yes. You just did that, right?" They'll bring that up. They'll play it to you, and they say, "This is my idea." You got nowhere to go. Look, it's exciting. I agree with you very much. I think you're on the cusp of just a phenomenal change in marketing and laws, and I think it's going to keep going, and I think it's going to get greater and bigger, and AI is going to come and change it again. And it's going to be continuous. And you are just ahead of that wave. You just got to stay there, right? And I hope you do. Look, we'll definitely get you back on in another year or so and see where because you're so young. What will happen in the next year or 18 months will be mind blowing. And I think we're going to see a huge. Again, I think your timing's almost perfect in that you're not after funding now, but I reckon by the time you're ready for funding, it'll all be getting released again because there's a lot of money sitting there ready deployed, and you'll probably catch that wave again. So timing's everything, as they say. So look, well done. I love it. I think it's great, and I can't wait to see where you guys go with it. And we'll definitely have you back on. And I think your episode number, Harry's not here, but I think your episode like 97 or 98. So you're close to 100th episode as well.
Okay.
So it's iconic in itself. But more importantly, what it means is when we hit our 100th episode, we're going to have a party for all the first 100 episodes. So you've just got in. Otherwise, you'd have had to wait years for the next one. So that's good. So we'll get you back down to Sydney as well.
Unreal. There you go.
Thanks for coming on the show, guys, and look forward to seeing what happens.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.